Tujikaze, tujikaze, jikaze. Tujikaze, tujikaze, jikaze. Africa, tujikaze, tujikaze, jikaze. America, tujikaze, tujikaze, jikaze.
You are listening to African Father in America podcast by Simon Javanokelo, live from Seattle, Washington, USA.
Thank you all for joining me for another amazing episode of the Daily African Proverbs. I am in Seattle, Washington. It's early morning, 6 a.m. in the morning. I'm an early bird. I love coming here, on Clubhouse. And also, I live stream this conversation on YouTube. And whenever we gather here, we learn African proverbs. And we also learn African wisdom by dissecting these proverbs and learning what it is that our ancestors were trying to tell us through these proverbs. So on my Twitter handle, I have a proverb from Chad, and the proverb says, "The lion's power lies in our fear of him." The lion's power lies in our fear of him. And I was supposed to have a guest this morning, and maybe he will show up, maybe not. But for now, I just want to share what my thoughts and my interpretation of this proverb is. And I invite you to join me on stage as well. Grab a cup of coffee, grab some water, join me on stage. Let's have a conversation about this wonderful Chad proverb. The lion's power lies in our fear of him. This statement is actually true for someone like myself who grew up in the slum. I grew up in Kenya, in Kisumu, and my hometown is the third largest city in Kenya. But I grew up in a place where every day you had to either run away from the police or run away from criminals that want to rob something from you. So a lot of the time, even how you walked around the neighborhood, let's say you are going for an errand in downtown Kisumu, you had to walk across neighborhoods because most of the time we walked to places. And the way that you walked, suggested to the people around you where you are heading to, how far you've been walking. So there was a certain amount of courage that you needed to have whenever you are even walking to do your errands. There was a certain amount of calmness you also needed to have in order for you to go where you're going and go back home safely. And a lot of the time, when you're in the moment, you don't know. But then when you meet other people, you meet older people, they tell you how they've been making those walks and those trips and walking those roads safely. And so, just looking back, I realized that a lot of the people that, let's say even, in Kenya, the police were trained by the colonialists. The way that the police people there is not too different from the police in the US, by the way, because they're trained to drive fear in people, And so as teenagers, whenever we saw the police, we would just run away, It was just a relationship that never really worked. But also, whenever you are even going to do an errand, and you are growing up in the slum, you know that you already know who you should even walk by and who will snatch the money that you have from you. So if you walked with confidence, you'd find that you get to the place you want to go to without any problems. And you learn this over time. And so today's proverb really, for me, I think it teaches us that, we should not be afraid, that what we're afraid of is probably afraid of us. I watched a video some time back, a few years back, of a group of Maasai warriors that bluffed a lion. The lion killed a prey, and these Maasai warriors wanted a piece of it. So they walked straight to the lion without blinking an eye, and they had their weapons ready too. And as they got closer, the lion ran away from, the prey that it had killed, and the Maasai warriors cut a piece and they walked away, and the lion came back and continued having its meal. So those are the things that came up for me when I was looking at this proverb. I see that Monica is on stage here with me. I would love to just hear your voice. What are your thoughts about this proverb? This proverb is also my pinned tweet, and it says, "The lion's power lies in our fear of him." I'm going to attach this to the top of the room in a moment, but for now, let's hear from Monica. Monica, what are your thoughts about this proverb?
Well, good morning, Simon. Thanks for waking up so early to have this room. I try to check in with you as often as I can because I love wisdom. I love proverbs. I love quotes and cliches because I think there's so much truth in them. And when I find one that I like, I add it to my collection. I also noticed in the audience, Osset has a great one. She says, I tested positive for not, for refusing to live in fear. I think that's awesome. I think we let fear sometimes control us, and that we have to take a look at the lions to make sure they're really lions and not house cats. So I like the proverb today, Simon. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Yeah, you have to look and look again. A lot of the time, uh, you know, what you're seeing might not be the whole thing. So I love your interpretation. I want to welcome everyone, to join us on stage. Easy, thank you for being here, and Karen and Lavelle, thank you for being here. I had a chance to talk to you on phone yesterday. And Neema, thank you for being here, and Osset and Mashezi, thank you for being here. I would love for you all to, ping in a few people into the room, people that you think would love to engage in this conversation where we are learning African wisdom by dissecting this wonderful African proverb from Chad. The proverb says, "The lion's power lies in our fear of him." This is, for me, this is a reminder too of a conversation I was having recently. With with a guest. Her name is Go Mpateleni. She's from South Africa, and she was sharing with me how important it is. And she was really, really surprised that there's a group of people that come together consistently to discuss African proverbs. She's in Venda in South Africa, in a village where quite a few people. It has a sacred spiritual value for a lot of African people. So, I learned about it through my connection to Jane Naidu, who has been a regular attendee of the Daily African Proverbs, but he used to be the Minister of Communication for South Africa when Nelson Mandela was the president. So, I've just been fascinated by the value of Proverbs, and also by the value of the wisdom that we share with each other. So this time is really, really special for me, and it's a time that I normally look forward to every single day. So Monica, thank you, and Easy, I hope you and your family are doing well. Share with us what your thoughts are about this proverb from Chad. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Simon. Always a pleasure to be here. My family and I are okay. We are well. So this proverb, "The lion's power lies in our fear of him." I think for me, it's just a reminder. The thing that really comes out strongly for me is how powerful fear can be. That sometimes you realize that there's so much that as a human being you can achieve, or you had an opportunity to achieve or to conquer, challenges in life that you had an opportunity to conquer, but just because you allowed fear to embrace you, then that particular thing or that particular challenge got its power just from the fact that you allowed fear to embrace you. So it just shows me how uh, uh, you know fear can be powerful in our lives if or when we allow it. And it reminds me, for instance, like there's a time I was watching this. I can't remember if it was an interview or it was a documentary of Usain Bolt, and he was asked uh, like why he always pumps himself up so much on the track before the race begins. People would always see him, pacing up and down, and just talking to the fans, and at some extent it's like um, trying to bring down his opponents. And he said that is a tactic for him to just bring fear to his opponents and make them realize that no matter what the cost, they cannot beat him. And so, this when I saw this proverb, that's one of the things that came into my mind. Just how fear, just embraces us and takes charge and power of us when we allow it. But then the flip side of it is that there's also power in us when we learn that the power that fear has over us is granted by us. We are the ones who grant fear the power to take charge of us. Yeah, so that's my 2 cents about it. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much, Easy. Yeah, it's amazing what it takes to conquer your fears or to conquer your mind, and for me, for example, in the last 2 months, I haven't been running or working out the way I like to, or just taking better care of myself, physically. And, recently I began doing that more. And I just asked myself, how did I convince myself to be able to continue to begin, running a little more, challenging myself a little more. And I realized that, it's what this proverb is saying, and it's really what you're saying too, Easy, that from time to time we have to just remind ourselves of how great we are. So thank you very much, Lovell. I hope you're doing well. Share with us what your interpretation of this proverb is. This is Simon. I just want to welcome everyone while Lovell gets closer to her mic.
I'm here.
Okay,
I'm here.
perfect. Carry on.
Muted.
Okay, no
I'm
problem.
muted. I was muted. I'm sorry. When it says the lion's power lies in our fear of him, um, what I pick up is that the Creator, our ancestors, does not want us to have fear in our life. Wants us to be open up in order to receive our blessings, to acknowledge what is actually going on in this world today, to accomplish our goals and dreams and follow our assignments of what the ancestors have us to do and purpose in life today. I really like the Proverbs because this program will be well represented. It will travel among nations, expansions. We will learn everything that we need to know and observe about the world. And I must yield my mic.
Thank you very much, Lovell. Yeah, I agree. I agree with that. That, our ancestors do not want us to live in fear. And I'm grateful for your share and your words of wisdom. I want to welcome, Mashezi to share with us what her thoughts are in regards to today's proverb. Thank you so much, Mashezi, for being here.
Thank you so much. Thank you for the space, Simon. And African proverbs are like so powerful, like these parables that have just been passed on and so overlooked for some time. Or if well, I'm in South Africa, so for us it's like really something that's really installed in us. We'll sit with the elders and just hear them speak and jot things down. And when I read this one I've never heard of as well, so that's why it just really intrigued me as well to just open my mind. But when I was tapping in, what I got from it is like, that knowing self, that the lion's power lies, what? Let me just rephrase that. The lion's power lies in our fear of him. Sorry. So this is like knowing self. This is not seeking validation from others. That's what speaks to me. This is having that confidence in knowing that the Most High works through us. This is understanding that our spirit is majestic, although we in a bodysuit, but what lives is what's within. This is what my sister said, being open to blessings. I also love what Easy said on the greatness. So it also speaks to self-belief as well. So yeah, thank you. That's what I wanted to share.
Thank you so much, Mashezi. Which part of South Africa are you joining us from, by the way? Just share with us that now.
I'm in KwaZulu-Natal, Durban, but I'm in between. So I'm in Joburg as well, but currently I'm in KwaZulu-Natal.
Oh, that's great. Well, yeah, let's connect. Let's connect. I have a growing community in South Africa, and I'm just happy that you joined us today. And now my brother, Dr. M.D. Williams, thank you also for being here with us. Share with us what your thoughts are in regards to today's proverb, the lion's power lies in our fear of him.
Thanks, Simon. I appreciate it. I always appreciate you giving me the opportunity to speak on your platform. This proverb is like everyone else spoke about. It is about your self leadership. It is about being able to control you and have the knowledge. The 100% knowledge about yourself. One of the great things I always talk about when I talk about leadership is before you can lead anybody else, you have to lead yourself. And before you can lead yourself, you have to know yourself and understand that there is a great power within you that makes you capable of being a great leader. And that power is under your control, 100% under your control, because you are a mind with a body, not a body with a mind. So you control, everything about you and that power. So it's just amazing, because if you go back and if you watch and I know I'm talking about a movie, but it makes perfect sense here. If you go back and you watch these Marvel movies that are coming out, you got Superman, you have, Captain America, you have, all these superheroes, and they have a certain type of power. And they have to learn to control that power. And then, like, if you got somebody that has, a lot of power within them, or a certain energy, but that energy stays contained within them until they're ready to use it, then, and that's what makes them super. That's what makes them a superhero or a super being. We're the same way. We are super beings. We just have to see ourselves as such, as being a super being. And that is what this proverb says, and that's how it speaks to me, is that the power that I have within me fears me, because I have 100% control over that power. And that power is I either can use that and make that power and make me great in what I do and whatever endeavors that I do or whatever journey that I decide to take, or I can let that power, rule me. And when it does that, then that means that I'm failing, or I'm not being constructive in what I am spiritually supposed to do. In my life journey, or in my journey period. So, that's what this proverb means to me. And I hope I didn't confuse anybody in my sayings, but I do agree with everyone. This talks strictly about self leadership and about being able to control and lead yourself. I yield my mic.
Thank you so much, Dr. M.D. Williams. I do want everyone on stage to also think about, just three tips, three ideas that you can give someone in regards to building confidence, because this proverb talks about that. How do you stay in your greatness and stand your ground and inspire others to do the same? So think about three tips. So I'll bring back the microphone to Monica once we hear from my brother Kabala. Kabala, thank you so much for joining us today. I hope you're doing well. I'll pass you the mic so that you share with us what your thoughts are in regards to the lion's power lies in our fear of him. Today's proverb is from Chad. And for those who are just joining us, we gather here every day at 6 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. And we've been doing this since January. So we learn African wisdom by dissecting African proverbs. Sometimes we have guests, like this week, today is the only day I don't have a guest. I was expecting a guest, but he had an emergency, and so he was unable to join us. But yesterday I hosted an author by the name of Malik Aduni, and he's also he works with a lot of artists. He's just an amazing individual for you all to connect with. So if you want to catch that conversation, you can do that through my YouTube channel or the African Father in America podcast. If you want to get to my YouTube channel, the link at the top of the room is the best way to do that. We are currently live streaming this conversation, and I want to also thank everyone who is currently on YouTube. And I want to ask you to leave your comments as well with what this proverb means to you. The lion's power lies in our fear of him. Kabala, thank you so much. The microphone is now yours.
Thank you so much, Brother Simon. It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you for inviting me. It's your conversation. Indeed, the proverb for me means a lot. Means a lot of things. When I heard it, I hope I'm able to hear me. I can see the network is not stable enough on my phone.
Oh, you're very good. We hear you very well.
Excellent. Yeah, as I said, I had a couple of thoughts, passing my mind as I saw the proverb of today. One thing that I want to speak on, which I understand can make more sense to the context of the proverb, the lion's power lies in our fear of him. I think I speak about it in terms of knowledge, knowledge of self, and knowledge of others. Why I talk about it in terms of knowledge? Because in the context of jungle, is a context of I can call it a context of conflict. The lion has always been in conflict with other animals or human beings. Obviously, he's always curious, knowing that he can be attacked by a human being and killed, or he can be attacked by a tiger or other animals and killed. So it has to develop a sense of knowledge of self, firstly, to know what other, for example, what other people think about lions, right? And to know what other animals think about a lion. And once you begin to know what is the perception of other people, and you discover that actually they are fearful of you, It gives you an advantage in the conflicts of war. I mean, in the case of war that is taking place in the jungle. And I look at it even uh, in the human society. We all live in, I can call it in a conflict, because I believe every group of people in this world aims to have a control of the world and its resources. The Chinese people have the same goal. European people look the world in the same way. They want to control everything, which is normal, right? As a group of people, you have to eager to gain the power and to be in a position where you dominate. You know, it's gonna be sickness if you as a people want to always remain in under control or the domination of other people. So already in with that world psychology, world psyche, I believe it's already a kind of conflict where every group want to empower itself and to be in a position of controlling the world and its resources. So in that way, for you to do that better, you need to understand yourself, to know yourself firstly, who you are, and you also need to know the people in front of you, who they are, or also knowing what they think or what they know that can be even much better, which is obviously in the context of the Proverbs. So I also look at it in the context of Sun Tzu law, you know, uh, as he said that, if you know yourself and you know your enemy, the victory is 100% guaranteed. But if you know yourself, but you don't know your enemy, you have 50% to lose the battle or to win it. But if you neither yourself and don't even know your enemy, the defeat is guaranteed. So the power of lion lies in the fact he knows that whenever a human being faces me, he's already afraid of me. So once he's afraid of me, he's in a position of weakness, and I can attack him because he's already in a position of weakness. He's not going to really keep himself up in order to fight or to resist. He's going to keep, he's going to start running, and I'm going to just jump on him and devour him. He knows it. And he knows himself that I'm a lion. I've got a big, I don't know, a big chest, and I've got this kind of face, and which is terrifying to people. So you need to know yourself. You need to know what kind of skills can do better than other people to be more practical now. Every time you wake up in the morning, you need to ask yourself, what do you do better? That's, when you do it, people love you because you do it. And people really know that when it comes to certain things, they have to trust you. What do you know about yourself? Unfortunately, many people don't even know better, something better about themselves. And obviously, life for you is just kind of yin yang, if I can use that word. So the first thing is you need to know yourself. You need to know what people appreciate about you, what people love about you. What is that? So I think you being able to know that, you will do whatever you can do to improve yourself in the perspective that you are in, that guideline or in that area where you are best and people love you, about. And obviously, by continually doing that, you'll be getting more better and better, and then you will become an exceptional person that people have always looked to when they need things that relate to what you do. Thank you very much. I yield.
Thank you very much. I'm really excited about what you had to share, because I feel like it ties everything that we've been talking about since the beginning of our conversation half an hour ago. And this is why, and this African proverb that says wisdom is like fire. We take it from each other. In a lot of what we've been listening to, there's so much that is related to each other, and there's a lot of self-discovery that we have to do. We have to know ourselves, but also we have to know our enemy, and our enemy could be many things. It could be an opportunity we are pursuing. It could be a relationship we are pursuing. It could be just the pursuit of happiness, you know. So I want to learn from everyone who is on stage with me: Monica, Easy, Lavelle, Mashezi, Dr. MD Williams, and Kabbalah. I want you to think about, you know, either three or you know, 1 to 3 tips of, you know, what are some ways that you always build courage, you always you know, have a lion like attitude towards whatever challenge you face, you know. I want to learn, and also I want to give an opportunity to everyone who is joining us to learn, and this is because, you know, we do this every single day so that we can gain African wisdom. For me, one of the ways that I build confidence and I build courage is to do this room as consistently as possible. You know, right now I'm doing it 6 days a week, Monday to Saturday. In fact, I do it 7 days a week, because on Sunday we have a special segment with Archbishop Ogonyo Ngede. He's a renowned religious leader from Kenya. And remember, I don't affiliate with any religious organization. I also interview renowned African spiritual leaders. For example, this Wednesday and Thursday, I interviewed, you know, every Thursday, in fact, I've been interviewing Gogo Rutendo Ngara from Zimbabwe. She lives in South Africa. And then last Wednesday and this Wednesday, I'll be interviewing Gogo Mpateleni, who is also in Venda in South Africa. And I'm researching and looking for more African spiritual leaders, and also other leaders, you know, politicians, activists, authors. Like yesterday, I interviewed Malika Duni, who is a children's books author. And today I was supposed to also interview Jeffrey Lee Chitham II, who is also a children's books author. And I'll be bringing him here again. So, you know, my goal is to bring our people together and for us to ground ourselves in African wisdom, because nobody else is going to do it for us. You know, we have to create spaces, especially now that most of us have to exist online. We have to create spaces that are safe, that are positive, but that are for enriching ourselves with African wisdom, because that's how we can equip ourselves and face the world right now. You know, for me, I don't know any other way. You know, even if you look at what's going on, what just happened at COP26, you know, one of the key areas that are being missed is involvement of indigenous wisdom in solving the climate change crisis, and doing the same even with the pandemic, because these calamities and these pandemics have always been happening. These are not new, you know. So for me, I just love questioning everything, and I want to pass the mic to Monica to share her thoughts, and then we'll pass it to Easy. And after Kabbalah shares with us, we are going to end our conversation. Thank you all so much for joining us. By the way, if you want to join us on YouTube, I am live streaming there as well. Thank you so much.
So I had a couple thoughts about your request on tips and tools. One of them is, how do we build self-esteem in our children? And the answer is, we cannot build self-esteem in anyone. Self-esteem is built on self-respect, and we earn self-respect by doing hard things and not being successful, and then doing them again and again until we're successful. And that's how we build our self-esteem and self-respect. I'm a fan of Jordan Peterson's wisdom, and he talks about how we learn things, and then we learn things that are uncomfortable to us, which makes us have to replace the things that aren't true. And so we burn the things that aren't true to build a better us and then grow. It's I know how much you like nature, Simon. So it's very like pruning a rose bush or trimming trees or clearing underbrush from forests so that the forest fires don't engulf the whole forest. And they have control burns too, where they burn a little bit of the forest to save the rest of the forest. So those are my thoughts and how we take the fear out of the lion, take the power out of the lion by confronting the fear. And thank you for this room.
Thank you so much, Monica. I also appreciate your support in promoting this room, on Twitter, Thank you very much. Easy. Share with us your tips.
Thank you again, Simon. I think one of the things for me that lately, especially, that I have been trying to do and get myself to understand and to do and let it be a part of me is having the willingness to step out of my comfort zone and not allowing myself to be too comfortable. Every time I feel like I'm at a space, I'm at an environment where I just feel comfortable, I feel settled, then I know it's time to move. And like what the mantra that I have adapted now that I go by, and I was even telling a friend the other day that I think I'm gonna even have a T-shirt line or something and print that mantra or that slogan on T-shirts. So the mantra that I've been going by is seek discomfort, and the idea is that what it has made me do is it has really really made me like get out of, because on a normal day I'm not so much, for instance, of an adventurous person. uh, in fact, I think my wife is more, the adventurous things that I have done is as a result of her pushing me to just be out there and do things that I have either never done before, uh, or or I have not pushed myself enough in those things. So this has made me, this realization has made me just really be out there and be at a place where every now and then I'm trying to do new things that I have never tried. For instance, 2 months ago, I got into a martial arts class, and I love sports in general, and I like working out and keeping fit. But when I was being asked why I'm getting into that class, my answer was because I am just seeking discomfort. It's something that I've never thought of ever doing, but I thought, why not? What's stopping me? There's nothing that's stopping me. I'll do it, I'll start, and then I'll just see how it goes. Maybe I'll do it for the longest time, I don't know. But then the idea is that I'll have pushed myself, and I'm sure there are lessons that will come out of it. And the thing also is because now being a parent, I'm very particular about what kind of example am I to my children? What are the things that they are seeing and observing from me as their father that uh, that are inspiring them? What kind of people would I love them to be out of the stuff that they're learning from me? And most definitely, one of the things I want them to learn is courage. And courage doesn't mean that you won't fear. Courage doesn't mean that you'll always have your head held up high. In fact, I think the reason why courage has a place is because fear already exists. And so the idea for you being courageous is that you are able to still move and do what you need to do regardless of your fears. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much. I agree with what you're saying. Fear is always there. Fear is always there, and how to manage it, and also how to harness it, because fear is energy. So how to harness it in order for you to direct it, so that it actually helps you. It drives you towards whatever you actually fear dealing with, and or dealing with other major issues that you're faced with at that time. Lovell, what are your tips? Thank you so much.
Well, my tips is that I'm also getting out of the comfort zone. I'm learning new things to do. I'm accepting new ways, new challenges. Just learning a whole lot of new things because I'm not keeping myself inside of one box. I'm accepting to listen, to learn, to create, and every day to encourage myself. Um, not not of being fear. To let myself loose, to be free, to be freedom. Um, Also to keep myself inspiring because I want to be a legacy of the world, not only a legacy of the world, but a legacy of my children. And also to show a good example of how to show the world that they can be loved. And I yield my mic.
Wow, thank you. Thank you very much. Mashezi, share with us your tips.
Thank you. For me, when I was thinking about that, I was still
Hey,
in
Mashezi,
that.
this is Simon. Could you come closer to your microphone? Thank you so much.
No.
It sounds great now.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. So I was still thinking about that lion proverb, and the thing is, it's this mindset thing, because the lion is not, in the kingdom is not like the fastest or biggest, but because of this mindset of, this is who I am, it really becomes the king. So with me, confidence is that it's a mindset, it's how you think. And in that, it's understanding that you're not perfect, you will make mistakes, but the mindset that you walk with is that I am a great human being. I have purpose. There's a reason why I'm here. And it also speaks for me to introspection, the ability to be able to actually look at yourself in the mirror and judge yourself, not in that negative judgment, but in the judgment of, okay, so what is it that I need to remove? What is it that is working? Having that moment with yourself, that is confidence for me. Self-awareness, knowing that you are unique, you're an individual, you have your own path. So those are the things that I thought of when I think of confidence, and just having that childlike energy, man, being free, and, because a child is like, free to make mistakes, to explore. So just having that energy of being comfortable in the unknown, not understanding that life is not a map, that everything you will see from beginning to end, but actually letting go of wanting to know the end, but just going for it. So that's what I think when I think of confidence. Thank you.
Yes, thank you so much. I love that. Dr. M.D. Williams, share with us your tips, please.
Yeah, thank you very much. I do have a couple tips that I do want to share and showing how to build your self confidence and also how to build, your self leadership. One of them, and I was sitting in my office and I had to pull this up because I know I had it somewhere. But these are the tips that I would give people, and it relates to this proverb and building that self leadership and that self confidence. Is one is to focus on your strengths. That is, do not focus on your weakness. You focus on your strengths, and then focus on the present because you can mold your future by focusing on your actions today. Then you focus on your priorities. Okay, then you focus on your results. So when you focus on your priorities and you focus on your results, you want to protect your time and then stay goal oriented, right? And it's important to set goals towards your dreams. Um, and you want to focus on your contributions because the best version of you will rise when you decide to use all of your potential to make your world a better place. Because whatever you do it with courage, boldness, and a positive and have positive pride, right? Then you surround yourself around people, only with people that are going to lift you higher. And do not limit yourself because the only limitations that you have are the ones you impose upon yourself in your own mind. So those are the only limitations that are real, that are valid. And you know, when it comes to developing that self confidence, you want to do today what others won't, so you'll have tomorrow what others don't. And then, lastly, I want to read a poem that uh, that relates to this proverb, and it relates to um, developing self confidence and what everybody's talking about fear and what fear can do to you if you allow it to. Now, my definition of fear is false evidence appearing real. Most of the time, when I have fear, it's not real. It's something that I'm developing within myself. But it goes, and then some of you probably heard this before, but it's called, what is my deepest fear? My deepest fear is not that my deepest fear is not that I'm inadequate. It is that I am powerful beyond measure. It is my light, not dark, that frightens me. As I let my own light shine, I unconsciously give other people the permission to do the same. As I am liberated from my own fear, my presence automatically liberates others. Playing myself small do not enlighten the world. There is nothing enlightening about shrinking so other people will not feel insecure around me. We were all meant to shine as children. It is not just in some of us, it's in every one of us. And I yield my mic.
Wow, thank you so much. I appreciate your words of wisdom, and also, Mashezis and Lavelles and Easy's, and really everyone who was on stage with us today was able to not only share your interpretation of the proverb, but to give tips, around building self-confidence, because today's proverb is speaking about that. It's speaking about, sometimes what we see is not what it is. We need to, take out some of the layers and really also understand our enemy, understand the lion, and test the lion. Those are some of the themes I picked up from our conversation today. And, I want to encourage you to join us at 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time today in the Africa Day Club. We are having a conversation titled Africa at COP26, Identity, Ownership, and Resetting Mindset. Some of the guests that are going to be there is David Otieno. We also have a digital humanitarian. His real name is Philip Ogola. He's in Nairobi, Kenya. We have Census Loliong from South Sudan. We have quite a few people who are joining us as panelists for that conversation, so don't miss it. And I will see you again tomorrow and Monday and the day after, 6 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, for the Daily African Proverbs. If you are just joining us, I want to encourage you to use the link at the top of the room to catch the whole conversation. I have been live streaming this conversation on YouTube, and then it's going to be available on all podcasting platforms in the next hour. But I want to actually quickly bring Census on stage so that she can speak about the amazing room that we have this morning. Census, I did a good job today. Yesterday Census called me out in private. She was like, did you talk about the room you're doing? So I just did it and you walked in, but I want you to just expand a little bit.
Yeah, hi everyone. This is Census. We are part of Africa Day Club, and on Africa Day Club, every Saturday at 12 o'clock Eastern, we have ongoing discussion, which are a break up from the last year discussion of Africa Day. Last year we had a 24-hour marathon, and so this year we are connecting that into various discussions each Saturday that delves into the various topics. Our second topic was based on the life of Kwame Nkrumah. So today we are going to be discussing Kwame's vision for Africa connected to the geopolitics in Africa and COP26. We want to delve into Africans and COP26, what our leaders discussed, the impact of our geopolitics in us reaching anywhere in terms of climate change, but perhaps also have people know that, listen, climate change is real in Africa. And even for ourselves, some of us do not know that the various weather patterns we are facing are part of the global climate change. So we want to move into that, and we have one of our guests is David Otieno, who is a co-host, but he was part of a 28-hour marathon on Clubhouse on COP26. So he will be giving us a breakdown on that and issues that he thinks are important for us to look into. And then we have Linda, who is in the food production entity, and connecting that to climate change and resource utilization. So she would also be discussing some of that, the manufacturing entity in terms of food sustainability in Africa, and followed by Ella. Ella is one of the advisors to the Tutu Foundation, Desmond Tutu Foundation. She will be looking at the geopolitics. So we're going to have that discussion. After that, we will open it up and have people come up and ask their questions or send us a message. But please join us. A lot of our voices as developing countries or people who have some of the lowest demographics in the world aren't really being discussed or heard of, nor are we even having discussions amongst ourselves on some of these issues. So join in Africa Day Club. You'll see it on my when you click on my link on my name on my profile, you will see at the bottom it's there.
Hey, Sensors.
Connect.
It's also at the top
Yes.
of the room. It's the link right there.
Thank you. You just put the link up. Great. So everyone, please click on that and come join us. Let's have these discussions. We really need to elevate some of our debates and understand our role in this global sphere, including our power in it. This is Census. I am complete.
Hey, Sensors, you're not complete. I actually want you to share with us your thoughts of today's proverb from Chad. It says, "The lion's power lies in our fear of him." And once you share that, we will wrap up our conversation for today.
All right. Interesting, right? Yesterday, there were some discussions going on in some of the African clubs, and one of them is South Sudan. And for those who know, we are going through an internal rift. And this is after becoming independent in 2011. But one of the issues is that there are certain clubs who flare up issues. But what I brought out to people was that we give them the power to flare up these issues. Okay, if certain people are toxic and in certain spaces, if you leave them alone, they would discuss this amongst themselves and get tired of it. But once you go there, you become their target. And now, because you don't understand these energy transfers, you start fearing them. And this is all something you're creating in your head. Or you start becoming angry at them, not understanding that, just because something barks doesn't mean it's going to bite you. So take back your energy, take back your position in your life, and start dictating how certain things interact with you. You will find that you are the most powerful source. This is Census. I am now complete. Back to you, Simon.
Thank you. That was really great. Just because it barks doesn't mean that it's going to bite you. That was really great. There's no better way to end our conversation than with that. Census, thank you again, and Easy and Lovell and Mashezi, Dr. M.D. Williams, Crystal, thank you for being here. I haven't, heard your voice in a while. I hope you're doing well. Join us tomorrow, and also join us at the event that Census is speaking about. I hope all is well with you and Dominique, Dr. Wanda, Jay Lee, Karen. Thank you all for being here, as well as Laura, Fred, Jeffrey, Mohammed, Yodalis, Oset, and Suli. Thank you very much. We'll see you tomorrow around the same time. We'll be in the African Wisdom Club, though, for tomorrow's conversation. So stay tuned. Take good care of yourselves. Peace and love.
African father in America. Tujikaze, tujikaze, jikaze. Tujikaze, tujikaze, jikaze. African father, tujikaze, jikaze. America. Tujikaze, tujikaze, jikaze.
You are listening to African Father in America podcast by Simon Javan Okello.